Hello and welcome to my channel. Go ahead, hit the like, hit the share. This video is going to be about the Savages and the Clarys. See, I was just watching Tim Savage, weird ass, try to talk about on his channel the fact that he's going in a new direction with his brand. Instead of J Savage Collection, it's just the Savages now. It must be real messed up when you gotta change your brand because somebody else has made a copyright for your brand. All this time, Tim Savage has been pushing this J Savage collection. And then we see this back and forth going on between these two parents for the last year. Then all of a sudden we see Tim Savage get quiet. As I was checking out old Azriel Clary and all his shady businesses, I come across the fact that he made a copyright for Tim Savage's business. Joy's business. Oh, I mean, Joycelyn's business. Whose business is it? You got Azriel Clary with the copyright. Joy was promoting this for a while on her social media accounts when she was active on them. Then you got the Savages saying that it was their boutique. I'm a little confused. He wanted us all to believe how Joycelyn was so self-made with this company, J Savage Collection. You mean to tell me he didn't even get the business aspect correct? Let's have a little flashback at some of their actions. It's quite clear if it hadn't been for the Savages pushing their sex slave propaganda, the Clarys would have never came forward and spoke out. But then it became very clear somewhere along the line, Angelo began to take issue with some of the narratives being pushed by Tim Savage and Asante McGee. One minute you had videos emerging of Tim and Angelo doing these never-ending lives, bonding, trying to portray themselves as the next Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. The next minute we see them constantly going back and forth. Why? Because of Tim Savage's narratives that didn't align with the way Azriel Clary was trying to portray himself at the time.
But one thing is, me as a parent, I'm going to check it. Because my children can get real vicious out their mouth and ready to go to war at any time. I don't do that. So I advise you to check your family and watch that disrespect that come out about the Clarys. And that's all I'm asking.
As he said, his kids can get a little reckless at the mouth, as we see with Azriel now. But at this particular time, he wasn't ready to expose this fact as far as Azriel cooperating with the FBI.
Say to you, bro, I don't get into none of that other shit. I'm not saying nothing else. You don't have to call me, none of that. But I'm going to tell you like this, keep my name out your mouth. Fight for your daughter.
Then after this, if you recall, we noticed Azriel Clary coming to James Mason's defense because old Tim Savage went and filed that bogus ass police report saying that he was threatened. So you had Azriel Clary coming to say he didn't witness this because Tim Savage included him in this police report. At this particular point, their stories were completely falling apart. They were being exposed left and right, and at the same time trying to figure out how they could tear down the people supporting R. Kelly. At this particular time, the audio came out between Don Russell and Tim Savage. And that brings the question again as to if Don Russell was the person who allegedly threatened Tim Savage, why was James Mason arrested?
Tell him congratulations. He just got him a wife for life. You should talk to TMZ and just tell them your son went, and they gonna put y'all in a position to make some money. Talk to him. I've already talked to him about it. The benefit. I'm just real, man. No, it's just I'm done, man. I understand that. Me and my wife going through divorce right now. And put me in a situation I gotta go through divorce now. So I'm over Tim, you're the man of your house. You can fix that shit. No, it's over, bro. That shit, I've been married for 20-some years, bro. You know? You are the man of your house. You can fix that shit. You talk. I already called for folks, my brothers, all them, man. This shit, once I do that, bro, marriages don't get fixed out there. You should know this. You a savage. Once you call brothers and tell them what the fuck going on, it's over, man. That's too much fuck. My brothers know what's going on, what happened, what all this shit, bro. I'm done. I mean, tell Rob he can do what he gonna do. I'll go out and make my meeting, and he got a nice wife for him. Like I said, you should talk to him.
Poor Tim Savage. All his clout chasing has his marriage in shambles, his daughter refusing to speak to him, and his master plan blowing up in his face. Not to mention people catching him in these illegal activities, such as filing false police reports. But anyways, while Tim Savage was out here still trying to portray his narrative and stunt for the gram, it seems like Mr. Clary was behind the scenes making some other moves. According to the copyright, let me get a better picture. According to the copyright, Clary went and trademarked J Savage Collections January 10th. No, I'm sorry, September 4th, 2019. And it was filed January 10th, 2020. These people want to get on the internet and pretend like they're living this high life. According to their backgrounds, I'd beg to differ. In between the foreclosures and the general bad credit, no. But anyways, I find it also interesting while I was looking at Azriel Clary's line of businesses, another particular connection he has. He had this company by the name of Time to Shine Records. According to the records, the manager of this Time to Shine Records is a lady by the name of Peggy Coundry from Kissimmee, Florida. What I find interesting about this connection is that Peggy Coundry is also affiliated with Homeland Security. So I'm wondering, why would someone working for Homeland Security have any business ties with someone such as Azriel Clary with such an extensive background as he has? Is that not odd to you that someone from Homeland Security has been in business with Azriel Clary, and Homeland Security is pursuing all these allegations made by Azriel Clary and Tim Savage?
It's sick. But I'm gonna tell you this, man. Them niggas that ain't getting paid. Right. Them niggas that ain't getting paid. Right. I know what you're saying. Y'all know y'all right. That truth. You see this guy that's on this motherfucker page? Y'all keep contact with him. Y'all keep contact with him. Cause all I want is I want this nigga to have to walk alone. With nothing but him.
We've sat back.
My motherfucking daughter and Tim goddamn daughter. That's what I want. I will pay you niggas to not help to not be with lawyer officer want some motherfucking money. I will pay niggas to stay the fuck away.
We have sat back and watched all of this clownery going on, but we've missed the important details and why. It's very obvious all these people are scammers. Period. Now, just in case you could barely hear what was said, that was Azriel Clary and his little minion talking about paying off people not to support R. Kelly and or to, in my opinion, keep up a distraction. I wanted to include this part because so many people have been going back and forth with the opposing side and have been forgetting that before this person appeared on YouTube, they were creating multiple pages to slander and push their narratives. And this has been going on for quite a long time.
I predicted a lot of shit, but I can't say what we already know. I'll give a recap. I started Mr. Mute R. Kelly. The page did good. It brought awareness because I wanted to keep shit going after the documentary. I didn't just want it to be a documentary because you see how long it was between documentaries.
Out of his mouth, he's saying after the documentary, he wanted to keep the shit going. So he created multiple pages pushing that narrative.
Did what we did. It won about the attention that needed to be brought. What I didn't know was, I'm going to give y'all a little recap. But what I'm going to give y'all
I'm sorry, I can't listen to him for so long because he's just so fucking boring. But you can go back and review all the things that he said. Unfortunately, you won't be able to get it from his page because while everybody was so distracted with the bullshit, they were busy deleting all this stuff they've put out there. Now, throughout this last year, they have single-handedly destroyed pretty much every story they've ever put out there, from these girls being hostages, from not being able to have a phone, to not being able to see them. All this stuff has been absolute bullshit. How have you not been able to contact your daughter when you're displaying you're on a video chat with her, and this was last year, according to the caption? Azriel didn't have a phone, but according to everything she keeps putting out there, it's very contrast to what's being said, considering she's holding a phone and she's taking these photos from phones. Now that I'm thinking about it, y'all see this familiar case? According to her in her last bunch of lies, the picture to the right is supposed to be her at 19. She wants us to believe that she's sitting here holding on to this same phone case from 2015. No. Yeah, right. Remember this photo? Posted by Joycelyn, but they don't have any phones. Maybe, have you ever thought about it? This is the prime example as to why celebrities don't want women to have their cell phones around them because of shit like this. Taking pictures of them while they're asleep, trying to expose them for a story, etc. Anyways, I said all that to say this. If you ask me, all these people need to be investigated. All their businesses that they have created need to be investigated. I find it very odd that Angelo, for example, has all these different businesses he has trademarked and put under his name, but there's no income filed for these companies. What's really going on? I find it odd these people that are in business with the likes of these two stooges right here. And most important, to add insult to injury, I find it very mind-blowing that a person such as the guy to the left had the audacity to spend so much time on the internet reading somebody else's indictment when they have their own fraud indictments, just further proving the point. All these people have criminal backgrounds. It's highly suspicious that they're being allowed to openly break the law and nothing is being done about it. But when you got certain connections, I guess it makes a little more sense now. We keep hearing about all this scamming that has been going on. For all we know, it could be the two stooges behind a lot of it, considering they do have quite an extensive history in frauding. This, in particular, is old Larry McGee, the grown man's indictment. Which says in or about March 2017. Maybe that would be a good incentive for him to do all this extra shit in regards to this case against R. Kelly. It's not uncommon for the FBI to strike deals with these informants in order to give them less time. Perfect example we just saw was Tekashi 6ix9ine. What are your thoughts on the fact that Tim Savage had to reinvent his whole brand because Azriel Clary has trademarked J Savage Collections? What are your thoughts on Angelo's business ties with someone working for Homeland Security? I decided to go ahead and share my Instagram, which I haven't done. For those that want to send messages, I do like to see people who I am talking to rather than get all these anonymous emails. I'm also on Twitter, Prima underscore Donna News. On Instagram, it's just Prima Donna News. And always, as usual, shout out to everybody supporting the channel, sharing the videos. That's the most important thing for me. People to share, like, pass information, add to information. All that comes hand in hand, so I appreciate that. Have a good night.